is Joe.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is Double Trouble Features.
Ooh,
that had like a good
a
little guttural to it. Welcome to the weekly podcast where we talk about all things TV, movies, entertainment, and just what's on these damn screens.
Man, there's been a lot on these screens.
Yeah, we've been on a little bit of hiatus just because we've been trying to keep up.
Hey, we got to take a summer break. All right, it's summertime. We got to enjoy ourselves, enjoy our lives.
Oh, and look at these amazing movies that we've seen. Blockbusters are back, I think. We'll get into it.
I miss Blockbuster.
But when we were at the movies the other day, full theater, packed, people coming in, running around it was wild. And for the most part, people were pretty well behaved, which is not normal.
No. And so I am so excited. We're going to talk about a bunch of movies that we've seen this summer so far, or at least in the past month. And going to get into some surprises that were announced literally last night.
Girl, and it's very poignant. Very, very.
Very. Yes. Oh, my God. So, yeah, let's get into the show. So, last night, San Diego Comic-Con happened.
You know, it's always an event.
We need to go one day. I would be so down to go.
I mean, so I used to do stuff with San Diego Comic. I never went, and I never felt the inclination to go because it is a lot. It is an event.
Yes.
It is. There's yacht parties. There's shit going on. I'm not kidding.
No, it's the Super Bowl for nerdom.
And but LA is so close that they ship them all down, everyone, and it's so beautiful. But it's got that little bit of LA polish to it in San Diego, which is beautiful.
Yeah, no. I've never been to San Diego.
I've lived in both LA and San Diego.
Yeah, but so some big things happened last night. First off, Fantastic Four. Got to see the first little sneak preview of Fantastic Four, and it is beautiful.
I want to see Mr. Pedro Pascal in that tight blue suit and that. Ooh,
We didn't get the suit yet.
I know. That's what I said. I'm waiting for it because I want to see. I want to see Dad in that suit. Dad. Ooh. You know what I'm talking about.
We're not going to say mother anymore. We're just going to say father.
Well, when it's a man. Well, he's not giving mother. He's giving father.
Yes.
And I need a father figure.
But it was a great trailer of just them kind of getting suited up. You got to see Johnny going through a dating world. You got to see Ben Grimm kind of being, Reed Richards' best friend and stuff like that. And so and then Reed Richards and, Sue Storm, their little dynamic. It was a little cute. But the big thing that you saw was they are getting ready to go to space. And they get in a rocket ship. And this is clearly taken back in time, in the 60s. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
I think so, but and tell me if I'm wrong. I think from what I understand, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in Marvel in general, most storylines or timelines kind of start around that 60s beginning with Fantastic Four. It always starts with a Fantastic Four. The timeline kind of starts from there, from what I understand, from what I've heard from the TikTok verse. You might be more well versed in it, but understanding that Fantastic Four is always the almost catalyst event.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is well before the Avengers, well before Iron Man and all these other characters. In actual comics, Iron Man, Captain America, those are actually side characters.
Yeah.
It is X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four. Those are the three big
Which
groups.
is why we had X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four in the early 2000s.
All for 20th Century Fox. Yeah. And so with this, you see them, Reed Richards is talking to a class, little kids. And he's we discovered that there's multi universes and stuff like that. So it looks like they're all going to go on a spaceship and travel to probably a different universe or something like that. And I guess that's how they come to, the sacred timeline, the Earth 616. But that's just speculation. So I'm excited for that. But we all know who And Galactus is supposed to be the big bad for them.
Which I'm getting tired of reused villains, to be honest. When I heard it was Galactus, I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen it before. I've seen it done in all, and I get it because he is like the big bad of the Fantastic Four universe. Yeah. But like, why do we have
the second big bad?
Yeah, but exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point. Why are we putting so much pomp and circumstance behind this second big bad who's like, whatever? I don't know.
To be honest, like Secret Invasion, like the Super Skrull is like one of the biggest bads for the Fantastic Four because the Super Skrull has all the abilities of the Fantastic Four. So I kind of wish they would not have done Secret Invasion at all.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Or done it after.
Yeah.
That would have been more fun. But no, it's just like for Galactus and me, I'm just like, okay, fine.
But the biggest bad of all got revealed in the best fashion. They revealed the next Avengers movies, which are coming out in 2026 and 2027. And we just got rid of Kang. Kang. Kang's gone.
I mean, they didn't even broach him in.
No,
we're gonna get into.
all.
We saw Deadpool and Wolverine. We're gonna get into a little bit, but like they didn't even broach Kang. That didn't come up once. Nothing.
Nope. Kang's gone. Doesn't exist at all. And I agree with this. This is like a rule in like WWE. If somebody cannot perform or something, you have to get somebody bigger. And who's bigger than Kang? Dr. Doom. And so Doom is going to be the next big bad for the next Avengers. And we finally got a cast. We finally got somebody to play him. And it's RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr.
How do you feel about that?
So, like, I do like Robert Downey Jr., and I do think that he would do very good in this role because, for all intents and purposes, Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom aren't that different. Billionaires who, like, are trying to, like, you know, do different things for the world. They're trying to, like, put their mark on the world. An event happens, and Tony Stark is like, oh no, I grew empathy and now I care about people and don't want to kill people. And if you can guess, Victor Von Doom felt differently based off of his name alone. And they kind of just went
first of all, that's a dope ass.
I know.
I think it's one of the coolest like, villain name.
I love Victor Von Doom, like that just rolls off the tongue. I love Marvel and their alliteration. It's a little too much.
Victor Von Doom, but he sounds like he should be like Russian or something.
Yeah,
like
but depending on which
Lithuanian.
Well, depending on which storyline you're in, he is European in some of them. Like it just kind of depends. So I do think that he'll do a very good role. I think he knows that part, and he's just going to play Tony Stark, but evil. But that kind of gets into my problem with it. I don't want to see another Tony Stark after we just did that whole send-off.
Yeah, my biggest problem, again, agree with everything you just said. I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to play perfectly in this. I think he's great for the role. I think, to be honest, out of like most actors that are out there right now, I really don't know who would be better for this role and stuff like that.
Bring back the original. Bring back Christian McCann. Oh, daddy.
You would think you would want somebody younger to kind of play him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, usually Dr. Doom is about the same age as Reed Richards. And so that dynamic I kind of understand. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is 60. And Pedro, I think, is like 50 something. So like that, they're not that off.
Is that true? Is he? Damn, he looks good.
Yeah.
Put those two next to each other and say which one's almost 60. Jesus Christ.
Actually, you know who I love? Nicolas Cage to be Dr. Doom.
That would be really good.
That would be crazy.
Especially after Longlegs.
Yes. But again, it's just like you said. We had a whole montage of every single person in the Avengers cry for Tony Stark's death, just for us to bring him back. And like, this is me speculating again, just a different variant.
And see, I don't know if it's a different variant because like we've been we've been doing this multiverse thing for a while. We'll get into that in a minute. But like,
we're going to keep doing it.
We're going to keep doing it. But they haven't even like broached an Iron Man. You know what I mean? Because like in reality, if we're going through all this multiverse, we need all these things. Why wouldn't we just go get Iron Man? Like that's never really addressed ever, like at all. And so now they're finally addressing it and just bringing him back as Victor Von Doom. I don't like that, and I'm concerned. But my thing is, if they do it, how I want them to do it is honestly just pretend like he's not even there. Like pretend that he's not Robert Downey Jr. Like I want Victor Von Doom. I do not want a variant of Tony Stark.
But I think that's what we're going to get. I think we're going to get a variant of Tony Stark, because that's the only way that you can use the same actor. Because at the end of the day, you can't really just be like, oh, hey, this same actor is just a different character, and like not address that or talk about it somehow. And there is precedent. There's comics and stuff like that have gone the Iron Man turns into Doom, but it's kind of just a punch in the face for all the emotions I had at the end of Endgame.
Yeah,
and I just, to be honest, I just never wanted an Iron Man. And like my rule is for bringing back either characters or doing like sequels and like, or like not sequels, but like prequels or anything like that, or rebooting a franchise. I need like 20 years. I need some time for, okay, because at the end of the day, it's only been like what, 8 years, and I still feel the pain because Marvel feels like it hasn't moved on since Iron Man died.
No, because we're still dealing with the effects of that movie. The new Captain America movie, New World Order, comes out next year. And that's dealing with the events like directly after all of that shit. Because, I mean, there was the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was like directly after.
Yeah.
But this is like, but that movie is like following the events of that movie.
It's not too far removed.
It's not.
And that's the problem, is like we're just randomly going to bring back another variant of Iron Man and right out like when we still haven't like fully moved on. If we've moved on and kind of got the shit rolling, would be perfectly fine.
See, now I just want them to like just pretend like it's not Robert Downey Jr.
No, people
no,
be pissed.
I want that because it's like if you, this variant bullshit, it's gotten too much. It's gone too much. It's gone too far.
It's gonna get worse.
It's gone too far.
But yeah, let us know. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Do you think this is a great move? Are you super excited, or do you think we're just rehashing the same bullshit? Let us know. So, Joe, this is where we're going to get into all the movies that we've gotten to in this summer. Tell me, what's a movie you've seen, man?
I am as you know, I'm a huge horror fan. I've been watching horror since I was like 6 years old.
You don't say.
It's been, I didn't even mean to. I'm wearing the Craft shirt right now, which isn't exactly horror, but it's horror adjacent at least. I love horror. So I went and saw Longlegs because people were like, oh my God, it's the scariest movie of the last 10 years. This is going to make you like wet yourself in the streets, which they do for every horror movie. So I always take it with a grain of salt. If you are an average horror fan, this movie is good. It's interesting. It is not that scary. If you like, I'll get into it a little bit, but what this movie is about, it is about this woman. She's an FBI agent, and there's this guy going around killing people, a serial killer, but there's no really any kind of indication of how he's entering or leaving the house or how he's doing it. Like, he's convincing these fathers to kill their whole families and then themselves. And the only reason that they know that there's like somebody else involved is because there is always a letter that's left, and it's signed Longlegs. So you go through this and you see this like kind of new upstart. She's very like, it's almost like a ripoff of Clarice from Silence of the Lambs and like that kind of stuff. A young 20-something-year-old FBI agent. She's like very serious. She's got her shit down. Yeah. Obviously has some issues and like whatever's going on like with her mother and all that stuff, which definitely gets into it. And I won't go too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But she's going in and like she's trying to figure out what it is, and she's starting to like remember stuff. And then she like gets a letter in her house when she's home alone from Longlegs and all this stuff. And so like she's going into it, she's learning more. Is this guy like breaking her in? Is it drugs? Is he like whatever? I will say this is demon shit, like straight Satan.
And that's where I'm out.
And I know you don't play with that shit. So like, no. But like I will say it was shot beautifully and the images were great. And it really did create moments of tension with just the scene. Like, I do think that it was a very unnerving movie. But for me, unnerving and scary aren't the same
they are
thing
two different
necessarily.
Things. Yeah, I agree with you.
So I think a lot of people intermingle them because I think of like the movie like Skinamarink. It's a very unnerving movie. Was it really that scary? I don't know. It's up to the person. But like for me, scary means I walked out that night being like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be murdered by this person. Like
I'm having nightmares.
Like I'm having nightmares. Like for me, that's scary. And so
I'm just in my chair and I feel uneasy, yes, and I'm just like. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there were some very scary parts of the movie where you like didn't know what was going on and you didn't understand. And like Nicolas Cage's performance as Longlegs was so good. He's so weird. He's this old satanist rocker who's like doing all this stuff, and he's like
his true self.
Yeah, just him playing himself. To be honest, bashing his head into the table. But no, it was a really good movie. I would honestly give it a 7 out of 10 just for enjoyability. Like it was a good creepy movie. Scariest.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say scariest, guys. If you think that's the scariest movie, I promise you. Get a Shudder account, whatever, AMC Plus, whatever, and go watch some like horror, because I mean like body horror, supernatural horror. This is a great introduction. I think that this movie is a great introduction into the horror genre, and it's really fun. If you liked Longlegs, start getting into it. See more out there. Like get it. Like there is so much good underrated horror out there that you all should go see. Longlegs was great. Gave it a 7.
7. Okay. All right. I'm probably going to see this movie.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Like, especially during Halloween, like October is like that's my scary era. Like, I just love watching scary movies during October.
What's really interesting is like, because horror movies and the horror genre, a lot of horror movies come out from like in like the January, February, March, that Q1.
Yeah.
Because it's when it's right after all the Oscar bait movies come out. And so there's kind of like a dead area, and that's when a lot of the horror comes in. So it's been, and that's why people are saying like, this is like one of the best years for horror.
No,
right
I haven't remembered a time where we got this many horror movies.
No, and like back to back, like The Watchers, Longlegs, Quiet Place Day 1, like horror back to back is great. And it's still coming. It's still going.
Aliens, Romulus. Ooh.
I'm gonna stop. Don't that make me anyway.
And so the next movie that I saw, this is the one I saw. I think this is actually a great movie, fantastic movie. Actually, I probably would rate it a solid. I'll give it an 8.
Wow, and you weren't that excited for it. You were kind of like, I don't know. You were kind of on the fence because it was so long after the first one. You're like, is it gonna hold up? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So I saw Twisters, and Twisters, I love the original Twister.
Yeah,
I loved it. Like me and my parents watched the crap out of it.
Bill Paxton.
Hey,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But so I had high expectations for this movie. And because I was just like, it needs to at least be better than the original because like it's 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Like graphics are much better and everything, like CGI.
Yeah.
Like we should be, but I also wanted a little bit more fear in this movie, you know?
Yeah. I think that's fair. Make my butthole clench.
Gonna be honest, people die, and not just like a couple. A lot of people fucking die in this movie.
The way they should.
Exactly. Like, because most of the time you think, oh my God, these people might not die. They're almost in the twister, but somehow they live. No, a lot of fuckers in this movie die right in front of your face.
It's like a Deus Ex Machina every 10 minutes. It's
Yes.
like, oh, cool.
Yeah, no. So quick summary. You have this girl, Kate. She's trying to figure out how to like disrupt a twister. She's from Oklahoma. She goes on to her first science experiment, and with her crew and everything like that. And then they see a small F1 tornado, and they're going, okay, cool, we're going to do this. And so they have to get close to the tornado and let them suck up all this like chemicals up, and it's supposed to disperse. Well, that F1 turns into an F5 real fucking quick.
The way naders do.
Yes. And like I think an F1 goes like 80 miles per hour or like 100. F5 goes 200 and some miles. So like it's a significant difference. And so all her crew dies except for her. Spoiler. Not really. It's literally the first like 5 minutes of the movie. She goes to New York. She works for the National Weather Service, and she's like, trauma. I never want to do that again. Everybody but one other guy died.
She doesn't want to be a storm chaser.
No, she doesn't want to do that shit anymore, and I do not blame her.
Yeah.
If your best friends and your boyfriend all die.
Oh, and her boyfriend?
And her
what
boyfriend.
What kind of work trip was this?
Yes. And her boyfriend.
It's like all my best friend. It's for work, and it's for the work for the National Weather Service. Okay.
Yeah, she's trying to get her PhD. And like her
it.
boyfriend was helping her, and then she has a couple
Okay.
other people who were helping her. And yeah. And so the guy that she was with that lived, the only one guy lived because he was in the back. Like not in the same car. He was like way far away. He comes back. He's like, yeah, I've been in the military, and they have technology where we could get like 3D images of these tornadoes and figure out how they actually start or how they end. Because I guess technically, yeah.
Do we not know how tornadoes start?
No, that's like, well, okay, we know kind of how they form.
Like I know the cold front and the hot warm front like hit together and the air swirls, and that's what.
Yeah, so they kind of explain that in the movie where it's just like there's science that we do understand, but then there's also a little bit that we just don't get.
I hate that. I hate finding this out from a fucking movie. I thought that I thought the scientists knew what a tornado was.
Yeah, because we can't predict exactly where tornadoes are going to land.
That's true.
We can't predict when they're going to end or anything like that. And so like this military technology, if you didn't know, most things that we have are built from the military.
Well, they're built from subcontractors out of the military, and they're charged at a premium on our taxpayers' dime. But that's a whole other side of it.
But so he's like, hey, I want to use this to like figure this stuff out. And again, she's reluctant, but eventually goes back to Oklahoma. Then you meet Tyler Owens, who is Glenn Powell. And you know what? I want to shout out Glenn Powell.
No.
Glenn Powell has been in like, 4 movies this year? And like, you know what? Good for him.
I saw something somewhere that said, I'm so glad Armie Hammer came out as a cannibal so Glenn Powell could have the career he deserved. And that fucked with my head so hard because, I mean, he did take all those roles.
Did you know Glenn Powell was in fucking Batman?
Oh, yeah. Wasn't he like...
He was like a banker.
Yeah. Well, he was like in all of like if you go back, apparently he was like in as like almost like an extra plus.
He was an extra plus in so many movies. And then now like he's just like, hey, I'm hot.
Which is why he's like 35 and we're just now finding out about him.
Exactly.
But a lot of people like don't even remember him. Like he was in Scream Queens with Ariana Grande.
Was he really?
Yes. He was in Scream Queens season 1 and 2. Girl, go back because that shit had Jamie Lee Curtis, John Stamos was in that shit, Keke Palmer was that. Girl, go back.
I did not know Glenn Powell was in that.
Yeah,
wow.
He was the main boyfriend. Like Nick Jonas is also in it, and he was like secretly gay for Glenn Powell in that the whole time.
Interesting.
Go back and watch Scream Queens.
And so Tyler Owens, he's a YouTuber that chases these twisters and stuff like that, and they all meet. Kate's like, fuck you. You are weird and you're just trying to do this for clout while I'm actually trying to help it out. And eventually those two get a little closer,
Wow.
and then you can kind of figure out
an enemies to lovers storyline. This is so original. I've never heard of before, and it doesn't directly entice me and make my nipples hard.
But big thing about this movie, CGI is great. The tornadoes actually look good, like really, really good. Again, a lot of death, a lot of high stakes. There's this one scene where they're at a rodeo and the tornado just randomly comes out of nowhere, and they go into because there was randomly no basement. So they saw in-ground pool, and they go into the pool. When I tell you, I felt anxiety from all this shit fucking happening around them and almost to them. I was like, all right, I fuck with this movie. Because I feel like that's the big thing about Twisters that needs to happen is I need to feel anxiety that holy shit, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this kind of situation.
Yeah, you might die. That's the thing with a lot of these movies is you sit there and they put the hero through a lot of shit and you're like, first of all, I don't know if this is the hero. Second of all, I don't know if they're going to make it. That's what makes a good disaster movie.
Yeah, no. And so I think great movie, fun, entertaining. Also, shockingly, I'm not a country guy, even though I'm wearing, Midwest shirt. Shout out Maybob. But the soundtrack is amazing.
Really?
It's a good ass country soundtrack that just matches the Oklahoma feel. And I loved every bit of it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not a country guy. And I was just like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. God damn it.
I am somewhat secretly a country guy. I really am. I am because we're friends, but I don't put out that into the universe much. But my real question is off of I'm not a country guy. You get an alert on your phone saying there may be a tornado in your area. What do? Go downstairs or go outside and check?
Downstairs.
I go outside and check.
Yeah, because
I'm a white person.
No.
I will go. Yesterday, me and my dad, there was something going on up north, and we were literally watching these clouds kind of start doing this, and my dad and I are just literally keeping an eye on it.
No,
nothing happened because we were keeping an eye on it.
I remember when a tornado actually got close here, and it went off, and it was middle of the night, and in the townhome, and I literally was like, Morgan, we need to go downstairs right now, grab the dogs. And we went downstairs. I called my parents because they were dead asleep too. I was like, Mom, you need to get into the basement right now. I'm not going outside to check.
Did anything happen?
Down, in Belton, yeah.
That is so far away from here.
Not from Raytown. It's not that far. It is 20 minutes.
For a tornado, it's far.
Oh my God.
The tornado is not going to go 20 minutes. But I mean, I have seen in my parents' neighborhood, what's crazy is they jump. And that's what messes my head. Because I literally in my parents' neighborhood up in Smithville a few years back, I shouldn't say where I was. But it was one house fucked. Another house completely fine. Another house completely fucked. And it just went like that. Tornadoes are fucking scary, man.
No, they're very scary.
It was really funny when I lived out in California. They would be a tornado, whatever. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, nothing's going to happen. The sky is not even green. And people would be like, what do you mean the sky is not green? And I'm like,
sometimes it does.
I was like, usually if it's daylight and there's a tornado, the sky turns green. And obviously not at night, but during the day. And they're like, what are you talking about? So then I had to show them. I'm like, yeah, I am a Midwestern bitch. And there's no tornadoes in California for the most part.
They just have fires.
Yeah, that was fun. And earthquakes. Oh my God, fun. There's nowhere a good place to live in America.
Hey, shout out America. I'm not even going to pretend like I know how to sign. I was about to pretend like I knew how to sign for this movie, but I don't at all.
I know J-O-E, that's my name.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know boy, girl, black and yellow, because so when I worked at McDonald's, a bunch of the people knew sign language because they were all taking it in college, and they would literally be signing behind my back. And
Black and Yellow, though?
Well, so Black and Yellow was a song that came out at around that time, and I asked them how to do it in sign language. and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. You know what it is? That song. That's
Never
why I
heard
remember
it.
that.
Never heard of it.
What?
Never heard of that song.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
You know what it is? Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Okay, we're gonna listen to it later, and you're gonna know exactly.
No,
what I'm talking
keep going. Keep going.
No, stop. Fuck you. You're being a bitch.
Bro, that song came out like 2010.
Yeah,
Wiz
when
Khalifa.
when I worked in fucking McDonald's.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in college.
No.
Okay. Anyway, we're talking about A Quiet Place.
If you couldn't tell.
Day one. We both saw the movie, and what do you think? First of all, I saw the trailer so much that I went in with I actually kind of didn't want to go see the movie.
Yeah.
Because I saw the trailer since January.
Same. So my thing is, it's a very good movie. I really do think it's a good.
What'd you give it?
I would give it a good 7.
I would give
maybe a 6. I don't know.
I would give it a solid. Oh, okay. If you take it
by itself,
so, I would give it a solid 8.
So this is the problem that I have is it does feel like a first movie in a franchise that came 10 years after the other one. Like, and we're gonna get into it a little bit, but you don't learn anything new.
Yeah, no. So A Quiet Place Day One. If you don't understand, if you don't know the Quiet Place universe, basically what happens: a bunch of aliens come down. And they are attracted to sound. So if you talk, if you do anything, make any kind of noise, they will come and kill you instantly.
Yeah, they can't see anything.
Yes.
Like it's all auditory, which is why it's a quiet place.
Yes. And so we had 2 movies before this that followed a family who were living, I think it was like a few years.
Yeah, like 10 years after the fact or something like
that.
that. And they're like homesteading and they only speak in sign language and they like have like everything is like soft and they've really like soundproofed a lot of it.
But now we're going back in time to the actual first day in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if we didn't have those first 2 movies, this movie would be an 8 to me.
Yeah.
But because we already had those 2 movies, this one's a 7 for me.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good movie.
7.
I would see it again. But you follow this girl, Sammy, who's played by Lupita. And she's in a mental facility. They go down.
She's not in a mental facility.
Is it not?
She's in a hospice for cancer.
Oh, she has cancer?
Yes.
Oh,
Jordan,
snap.
Jesus.
I thought she had a mental.
Oh my God. No, she was dying of cancer. She was in a hospice.
Oh, the whole time. I thought she had like a mental problem or something like that.
No, she was dying of cancer. That's why she had the cancer cat. That's what.
Oh, that's what the cat was?
Oh, yes.
When did they say she had cancer?
I'm pretty sure they said like oncologist and chemo and stuff like that. It was like, it wasn't like a direct, it was very much like she is a young person dying from something that is like, but.
So yeah, she was in hospice. They go downtown.
And that's why there were so many old people.
Hey, old people got mental
she
problems.
was like the youngest one.
Hey.
Anyway, and that wolf was in it. Like that was weird.
Yeah. And then they go to a Muppet show, which I guess that's what cancer people want to see.
God, dying cancer patients.
And then all of a sudden, these aliens drop. And just shit hits the fucking fan. And
well, I do like how like as you're going into it, they're going into New York City. They're like kind of outside of the city in the hospice care, whatever. They're going into the city, and you see like randomly like a few fighter jets fly over, or like just a bunch of military vehicles coming through. And like, I'm not gonna lie, anytime I see a military thing, I'm like, it's Quiet Place Day One now. It is the end of the world.
And so I would say this gave me kind of like Cloverfield vibes.
Yeah.
And I love Cloverfield.
Yeah, very much.
The other movie is kind of but Cloverfield Original
for sure.
is an amazing movie. And so the thing about this movie is Joseph Quinn, who plays Eric, meets with Sammy when Sammy's like, hey, after all the shit hits the fan, she's like, I want to get a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
That's across town. And that's her only objective. And I enjoyed that of like, hey, fuck everything else. The world's going to die. I'm probably going to die. Let me try to get a slice of pizza. And Eric is a bitch. And Eric's like, I need to be with somebody. And so Sammy and Eric are just taking this journey to go get a slice of pizza. And that's the whole movie, basically. And the thing I actually really loved about this movie is it's fucking intense.
Yeah.
The entire time. There's some parts where they're like kind of like slow down and they like try to express how they feel and stuff like that. But those moments don't overstay its welcome like a lot of other movies do, where you're like, fuck, why do we have like 20 minutes of the scene? Like, I don't need that. Like, it is a perfect balance of like, hey, let's stop real quick, let's slow down the pace, and then we're gonna pick that shit right back up.
It does hit that syncopated rhythm of like boom, boom, and it's like it really does.
It's a perfect pace.
Yeah, it really is paced really well. Like I said, this is a very good standalone movie. My biggest issue with it is it's the third movie in the franchise, and we did not learn one new thing about the aliens.
And yeah, that's the biggest gripe. There's one scene where Eric's trying to save Sammy's cat that goes into an egg field where the aliens lay their eggs, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck that cat. Fuck that cat.
No,
that cat can go die.
I'm sorry. I don't care if you're dying of cancer. If your cat runs into a field of alien eggs, that's on God. Like
that's all God. The cat will find its way back or not.
That has nothing to do with me. And the fact that you think it does is insane.
Yes. And that's the only thing we learn about these aliens is that they make eggs. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know, like, where they came from. Like, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be like a full, like, scene. It could be just like you hear it over the radio of like, oh, these aliens came from like this meteor that's came to blah, 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 or this like that. Oh, we've dissected this, like, something. But we got absolutely nothing. And that's why I feel like this movie didn't serve a purpose. And like, at first I was like, no, like, I disagreed with you. But after watching the movie, I completely agree. This movie should have been the first movie to come out. It didn't, like, I didn't need to see the other two movies before this.
And check the podcast. I've been saying this all year.
No, you have.
And
I'll give you your props.
And I was like, it will be exactly what I think it is. And it did. It's still a really good movie.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I'm like having problems with. It's still a really good movie. It just like didn't give me what I wanted from a third movie in a franchise.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's a really good movie, guys. Though it's not a horror movie. It's a thriller and like very, very good action scenes, sequences that they do.
I don't know. There's some parts where they get really close to the aliens that feels a little horror-y.
No.
And even the cat scene you were talking about when he's like up on that scaffold, girl, that was horror. Like.
Yes.
I agree. It is a thriller, but it does take on those horror elements, which is really nice.
And it kind of brings back that like aliens feel.
Yeah.
You know? And so great movie, fantastic, but I only give it a 7 because again, the third movie in the franchise, and I feel like I didn't develop anything from the alien at all.
The only thing I've really solidified is the worst place to be ever in any kind of attack, disaster, whatever, is New York City.
New York.
Specifically Manhattan, because
it's always Manhattan.
Apparently the military's first reaction to everything is blow up all the bridges. like if this,
that has to be the protocol. Like I feel like that really has to be the protocol.
No, it really is, because like I mean, my sister's in the military, and there's this like the road going out to Coronado from San Diego, that little island out there. Like there are pockets in the bridge to put bombs to blow it up in case somebody is, or like in case there's a land attack and they're coming towards Coronado because it's a big military, whatever. And so like, no, it is like blowing up bridges is a normal thing, but like imagine being trapped on Manhattan with 8 million people and you have no way out. That is the real horror of it all.
I'm killing people.
They do. They always do. That's always the first thing that starts. He's not in this movie.
I know he's not in that movie, but that's the
shink shink.
That's
snick snick. That's what it does in the comics. It's like snicked. It's like SNKT.
Yeah,
like,
no, it
it's
is.
Like snick,
it is.
Snicked, which is such a weird. Like that's not what that sounds like.
So for the last movie we're going to talk about, I think it's actually one of my favorite movies of this year.
Yeah.
I will be actually honest. Is Deadpool and Wolverine. We're going to split this part in two different sections. So this part, no spoilers. We're going to tell no spoilers. And then the second part, we're going to tell all about what actually really happens. But for this first part, funny ass movie.
Yeah.
Like
it was, I was laughing the whole time.
Bottom line of this movie, like, who cares about the storyline? Who cares about anything? It is genuinely one of the funniest movies I've seen in a minute.
It made me laugh out loud so many times. It does have a lot of that like white boy humor.
Yeah.
Like they just a lot of them sexualizing each other, which I'm fine with. You can sexualize each other all day. But it did go a little past the, how do I explain that? Like the humor goes a little past the everyday homosexual humor. Like it gets it. He's like, I'm not usually a bottom, so you have to take it slow. Like that kind of stuff. Like I was like, okay, they did have gay people in the writing room to make this interesting and make it good. And no, it was hilarious. The whole time I was just like, and you know my laugh.
Yeah. Guys, this man sounds like a duck quacking, like in the middle of the theater. Just every time I feel bad when we sit next to somebody because it's just
You've probably
every time.
You've probably heard it on this podcast.
Isn't that a good rendition though?
Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't hit that.
Oh, that's high. Yours is higher.
Because mine hits like a, like I don't know. I cannot replicate it. I can't. It's like,
yeah,
like that kind of thing. Oh, sorry for your ears.
So anyway, what happens in the movie? For the non-spoiler, basically Deadpool, his universe is going to collapse because Logan died. Logan is in the same universe as Deadpool, which again, this is all 20th Century Fox.
Yes.
And so because Logan died, Deadpool gets sucked out of his universe into the TVA. And the TVA is like, hey, your universe is collapsing, but we deem you good. Good enough to put you into a different universe. And he's like, oh, no. He's like, fuck yeah. But do I get to bring my friends along? And they're like, fuck no.
And this scene is hilarious because there's so much Disney and Fox. Like the fourth wall breaks.
Oh, it's all Disney versus Fox.
The fourth wall breaks are so good, and even like to the point like you at one point you see like a decrepit 20th Century Fox thing in the background, like just destroyed, and it's just so tongue in cheek, and like I really enjoy how they played with the fourth wall, just because of that's what Deadpool is, and it stayed true to like everything, and it really got into what's actually happening.
Yeah, and so from that, Deadpool, his thoughts. Hey, if I just bring another Wolverine to my universe will be fine. So he scours all these different universes trying to find Wolverine. Then he finally finds the worst Wolverine in all of existence.
Yeah. And
they go on an adventure and try to bring him back to Deadpool's universe. And that's basically the movie. There's a couple villains. There's a lot of cameos.
I will say my one gripe is when I saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be a lot more of them bouncing from world to world.
Yeah, I did too.
And they spend a lot more time in, hey, remember Loki season 1? And they even do that in the movie. They're like, remember Loki season 1? Episode 5?
Yeah.
Which is really funny, but like they spend the majority of the movie
in the void.
Is it the void?
It's called the void.
Okay, the void.
And that's the word. And I would say, like, I give this movie a solid 8 because of how enjoyable it is. But in all actuality, the storyline is pretty bland. Like you said, they spend the majority of their time in the void, which is boring.
Like sure, I do, but I will say, and we might be getting to the spoilerness of it all, so like warning here, I will say it going into the void and spending that much time in the void did give a lot more unexpected twist than I was prepared for. And a lot of stuff I kind of just forgot.
Yeah.
Like, because they announced it, I was like, and you know,
that's not spoil. You didn't spoil anything.
Like, but like this, even like with when he gets like kidnapped and taken into taken into the thing, and you see like all the like, I mean, you see the original Sabers, you see the original like bad guys from the X-Men movies.
and that's all in the trailer. My thing is, again, the villain in this movie.
Oh, I loved her.
She is Charles Xavier's twin in the womb, who gets trapped in the void, who has like telekinesis powers and stuff. She is like, you may have loved her, but I like 2 years from now you're going to forget about her.
No.
Yeah. You know what? Fair. She's not a very great villain. Like her motivations aren't really that good. There's nothing really about her that like sticks out of any other like villain in the Marvel universe. Let's be honest, what's really the difference between her and the villain from the Marvels?
See, I think she was way more interesting than the villain from the Marvels because I actually understood where she was coming from. She was ripped from her family and shoved in the void as a child as one of the most powerful mutants in the world and was left to her own devices, and she went crazy and she was evil, and I think that the actors portrayed her really well. I don't know. I think the actress
no, don't get me wrong. I think the actress portrayed her well.
But
besides that, like, oh,
I don't know.
I'm evil.
I don't know. Her sticking her fingers into your head and
that was
eyeballs pop out and like all that stuff. Like, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah. I'm not saying like that's a bad part or anything like that. I'm just saying like her motivations, like to make me. You might have felt for her. I did not feel for her at all.
And maybe this is like, I think I'm having an issue with villains in general because I do think that we need more Penguins of the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it can't be the Joker all the time. You get what I'm saying?
No, I do.
It can't be Brainiac all the time.
Okay, wait, hold on.
It can't be
Penguin, Joker. Penguin's pretty up there, though.
But he's not the Joker. You know what I'm saying? He's not like your biggest op. He's the guy who runs the underground. But like even like the Scarecrow, we need more Scarecrows of the world. Like,
yes,
there
we go. That's a better.
I think we need to like encapsulate like what makes a villain. And I do like I would put her on the same level as Scarecrow. Like for me. Personally, Scarecrow didn't really do anything, but he was like he was a good villain.
Okay, wait. Let's stick with Marvel because like, are you talking about Batman Begins Scarecrow?
Yeah,
Batman Begins Scarecrow is way better than her. It's not even close.
No, like I see, and here's the thing: he was some annoying guy who had mental issues, and he wanted grandiose power. How is that different than Cassandra?
Okay, we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
But I don't think that like comparatively to in this phase 4, are we phase 5?
Girl, I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, they also like during it, they were like, yeah, we really don't know what phase this movie goes into.
We're obviously in a very intermediary
positioning
of the phasing out of Kang because like that was a failed experiment.
Yes. But out of all the villains that we've had so far since Endgame, I mean, I
guess so. And here's the thing. I think she's better than most of the villains we've had since Endgame. Except for like Namor. But that's just because I want to.
Yeah, I'll put Namor over her. I'll put the dude from Shang-Chi over her.
What's his name?
To be honest, I don't even remember her name from Deadpool and Wolverine. What's her name? Cassandra? Yeah, something like that. And see, that was 2 days ago. So,
but you don't remember the guy from Shang-Chi, but you put him over it. Now I don't remember the name of the girl from the Marvels. I don't remember her name.
We can both agree she is the most bottom tier villain there is.
She just had no story, and that's the thing is like I maybe this is it, maybe.
But I am Charles's twin, and I was ripped, and that's the whole background we get from her, and that's all we understand from her.
You need more.
Yes.
You need like she's on the same level as Charles Xavier, and she's evil. You need more than that.
And that just automatically makes her. that great of a villain.
She almost tore the universe apart.
Oh my God. But she didn't at all. Like, everybody almost tears the universe. Like, the chick with the hammer almost tore the universe apart.
She didn't. She didn't get close. There was no, like, she didn't get close. I'm sorry, she didn't.
But anyway, so I would say, like, the villain, the storyline, most of it's kind of like, cool. But just what makes this movie fucking amazing is Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's like their buddiness, their friendship. Like, you can tell they fucking hate, like,
buddiness.
They're fucking great friends.
No,
and they love each other, and like their chemistry.
They do love each other.
Their chemistry on screen.
They love each other a lot.
Is fucking excellent, top tier.
I just want to say thank you to whoever like gave us that Wolverine shot with his shirt off, and the direct pan down to his cum gutters. Like,
hey, Hugh Jackman,
girl,
for a 50-some-odd-year-old man, you're looking good, man. I think he's 55.
Hey, sir, Mr. Hugh Jackman. I sign NDAs. I have in the past, and I will again.
So on that note, this is your spoiler warning. All right, for all of you who are sticking around for the spoilers, those cameos were the best cameos I think I've ever seen in movies.
I felt like I was slapped over the face in a good way multiple times. I thought No Way Home with the two Spider-Mans coming back was amazing. No, I usually don't clap or go scream like during those kind of things. I did. You and I were both. I feel so bad for everyone around us because you and I were hooting and hollering the whole time, and we were the bad persons.
Yes, no, we were. Okay, so what was your favorite cameo? Okay, you pick one. If you don't know,
so mine is for a very specific reason, and it's Channing Tatum. But like, I want to get into it.
Okay, first I forgot.
He was supposed to be.
No, he's supposed to have his own movies.
He was supposed to have his own. And the whole reason he didn't was because of his contract with Sony or whoever did G.I. Joe. He was contracted for those movies, and that's why he couldn't do it. So the reason that we don't have a Channing Tatum Gambit from the original Fox universe is because of the G.I. Joe movies. And if that doesn't piss you off, it pisses me the fuck off.
I don't know.
And that's why I finally felt vindicated in this cameo, because it was one, I wasn't expecting, and
not at all.
And two, it was one of those that was like, it was such a deep cut, and you only it only made sense to you if you knew the inner machinations of Fox and Sony and all that shit at the time.
I forgot he was in Wolverine Origins, and
he was not.
Was he not?
No, that was someone else. That's the thing. There was scheduling conflicts. He was supposed to be that.
Gambit was in.
No, Gambit was, but that was not Channing Tatum.
It wasn't Channing Tatum.
No, it was that one guy. I'm pretty sure he was on like Friday Night Lights or something. You know, the longer hair. He had like a beard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First of all, that guy would have played a much better, because the funniest thing of like when Deadpool's like, who the fuck is your dialect trainer?
Yeah. But that was the part of the joke.
I know. And it was so funny because Channing Tatum's fucking Louisiana fucking accent was so bad.
It was just so thick. And the thing is, like, and every time Deadpool talked to him, he'd be like, "Oh, baby boy," and that's how I feel about Channing Tatum. Like, it was just so. And Gambit's one of my favorite characters. Like, I'm
not gonna lie, Channing Tatum was too hulked out.
He looked buff as fuck. And then I was like, you're gonna give me a ripped Gambit?
Yes.
Ugh. So yeah, but then my second favorite one was probably your first favorite one. I don't know.
I don't think so.
What is it?
My first one is actually Chris Evans.
Okay, that shit,
because
that was such a surprise.
Because that's what I think that part turned the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because you thought this is an MCU movie. This is going to be a bunch of like Marvel stuff we're introducing. And when you think, oh, it's Captain America, and Deadpool's like, yeah, Captain America and everything like that. I did notice that his hair was different and stuff like that.
So I was like, but you know, variants, because the whole thing is variants.
Yeah. And so, but then all of a sudden, when he said flame on, I fucking lost my shit. I was like, oh my God, are we bringing back the Fantastic Four?
I screamed. I literally went, ah!
like that part alone.
And it's funny because like even even the characters Wolverine and Deadpool, like in the first bit, Deadpool literally says, "Fuck you, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland."
Boom! It's bust the camera. No, but I was very, very, very happy to see Blade. I was to see Wesley Snipes back in Blade.
But when he said, "There's only one Blade," or "I'm the only Blade," I loved that shit. Such a dig. Such a dig.
Because they still haven't found a director for this Blade movie.
Girl, they must have Mahershala Ali locked in a basement somewhere being like, you can't go, and you already signed this contract. We'll figure out when this movie gets made, but you're not allowed to go anywhere. Because
he's going to be 80 before.
Look at Wesley Snipes. That was crazy that they brought back Wesley Snipes for that shit. And he looked good too.
Because crazy thing is, like, I can, in a realm, I can see that them bringing back Jennifer Garner for Elektra.
Yeah.
I can see that. And don't get me wrong, love seeing her back in the Elektra outfit. Yeah. But there was not a world where I really thought Wesley Snipes was ever going to be fucking Blade again. And they just said, "Hey, we got the Disney money. Do you want to just make a quick buck?" And he was like, "You know what? I'm still got money for back taxes, so fuck it." Like, he said, "Fuck it."
That was the laugh. Yeah, he's like, "I still got back taxes." God damn. Oh, that was a.
Oh my god. But no.
No, and see, that's the thing. Like, even with Jennifer Garner, like, I don't know what it is. I think, and I don't know if I'm speaking for all the gays love Elektra and Jennifer Garner in that role. It kind of formed me as a human being. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I did not give a fuck about the Daredevil movie. I really didn't. All I cared about was Elektra.
I loved Daredevil. Actually, as a kid, I actually loved it. And I forgot that Elektra had her own movie. To be honest, it's a bad movie. Like, we can both agree on that. Daredevil's also a bad movie, but Elektra's a terrible movie.
No, but I don't know. That's the thing about Elektra is, like, for me, it's a good bad movie because it's like so silly that for me it's like, okay, I don't have any expectations of this. The fight scenes were really good. I enjoyed them.
But see, when you have those, like, when you think that, when you're like fucking 8 or 10, that's when you know it's a real bad.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how to explain this. The movies that me and my sister watched as a kid, like on repeat, were Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher, that horrendous movie.
Fabulous movie.
See it. Now you're doing the same thing. You're doing.
I am.
Yeah, no. So and for me, but it was like Elektra and Batman and Robin, and those are my basis for comic book movies, and I'm gonna hold to it, and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, of course. But like those three are like, and X-Men, like those. Oh God, we really grew up in a very experimental time, and that's what's kind of annoying me about it now is it's getting very formulaic.
Yeah,
and they need to. I feel like they experimented a little bit, but it kind of went awry because they didn't keep the ship afloat. Like, they weren't like. There was no like overarching. There needs to be an overarching idea, and I think they did that with Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and then they were just like, "What do we do now?"
I think here's the problem that Marvel's getting into. It's like now, I think TV ruined it. Like, I think TV really, even though we both agree that, like, we loved WandaVision, loved Loki. Yeah. Like, there's good television. But it's just now, like, it's gotten so convoluted that if I jumped from Spider-Man No Way Home right to Doctor Strange, how the fuck did Scarlet Witch get to that? You have no idea. And so I think that's what kind of ruined it. What needs to happen is you have the blueprint.
Yeah.
Establish heroes. We need to have multiple movies of these heroes. That way I care and invest in these heroes. And then we all face a very big bad at the end. And because right now, like, let's be honest, like, I love Shang-Chi. Who cares about him? Well, who cares about any of these side, like, they all feel like side characters that randomly got their
Moonlight.
Who cares about Moonlight?
When is like, that's the thing is, like, I feel like they tried to use television shows to introduce more like lesser characters, and to be honest, we didn't really need that. I did not. I don't get me wrong. I loved Moonlight. I really did with Oscar Isaac. It was
played a great job.
Fantastic. I'm not even sure. Is it Moon Knight or Moonlight? I think it's Moon Knight. I just remembered that. I was like, I'm mixing it up. But Moon Knight, it was enjoyable, but like it did not serve a purpose and has yet to serve a purpose.
Exactly. But going back to Deadpool, I thought that this was a great homage to 20th Century Fox. You brought all the a lot of the side bad guys back. Bringing back Sabretooth, bringing back the is his name Ribbit?
Toad.
The Toad, yes. Bringing back Toad. Ribbit. I remember. Was that X-Men 2? Was that X-Men 2 where
that was the first one?
Was that the first one?
When she goes, do you know what happened when Halle Berry? Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else. But she like lost the accent that she's like been kind of But here's the thing: when I was 9 years old seeing that, I was like, cunt, serving cunt. She said, do you know what happens to a toad whenever it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else. Zap.
I really think if they brought Halle Berry for that, I would have lost my shit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, she was in like Days of Future Past and like recently. I want.
The thing is, she was, I would say, for the X-Men movies, I think it goes Wolverine number 1. It goes probably Charles Xavier.
Which Wolverine? What are you talking about?
Like if we're talking about like
you mean
20th
X-Men.
century? Yeah,
like
X-Men 20th century
movies. I thought you meant like movies.
Yeah, not the movies.
And I was like.
Have you seen any other movie?
Well, that's why I was like, you were like number 1 Wolverine. And I was like, the Wolverine is not my number 1 X-Men.
Okay, but characters wise,
yes,
Wolverine's probably number 1. I would put Charles Xavier as number 2. Storm is number 3 to me.
See,
I like Jean Grey was fine. Like was great. I actually loved Jean Grey. I was
gonna say Jean Grey is my number 1.
Real. Well,
I find her the most interesting character in especially in the Fox universe, like the progression of where she went and how they really did go from 1 where she was like kind of powerful to 2 where it was like really building up, and then 3 where it was like the culmination. But we all know how that happened. I still stand by X-Men 3, The Last Stand.
Thank you.
I still stand by it. Like
it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie,
and I don't get why people think it is. Like I really don't. Did it follow the comic books exactly? No, but none of the movies back then did.
Like I would say probably out of all like top 5 scenes of any Marvel, like any kind of comic book movie, is when Wolverine is trying to get to Jean and like his skin is ripping off
and you see like his adamantium skeleton and this was in like what 2009 or some shit. Like
and then he killed.
We're getting loud.
I felt that. I felt it. I was sad, and then it was great.
And then you get into like the Brotherhood of Mutants in that movie, and like even when one of the people says, she's like, "You're so proud to be a mutant. Where's your mark? Like tattoo?" Yeah. And when he looks at her and goes, he's like, I have been marked once in my life, and I guarantee you, no ink shall ever touch my skin again. And I was like, that movie held powerful moments.
Shout out X-Men.
X-Men 3 Last Stand. You deserve better.
Yes,
people,
100%.
I don't get it. Pop off in the comments if you think X-Men 3 was a good movie, and if you didn't, fuck off. But not really.
So I thought Blade, Elektra, a bunch of the X-Men people were great. I thought the end credit scene was fucking perfect because it showed a bunch of like, you know, B-roll of like all the background and behind the scenes of like all the Fox movies.
Like it had a Fantastic Four. It showed scenes from all the X-Men movies.
The soundtrack that was playing behind that is Good Riddance by Green Day.
I will say this movie is a jerk off session for millennials. Like the music they had bye going.
What did you tell me after?
I feel like I just said that.
No, you told me.
Oh, I told him. I was like, this is the first time I've ever understood the phrase fan service.
Yes.
Because It just was like every cameo it was, but they all served a purpose, and that's the important part that I think a lot of studios forget.
Did they?
I do.
Did bringing back Electra Blade, to be honest, Johnny, bringing back any of them, did that really serve a real purpose in the movie?
It served a purpose in the storyline. Because they needed people to team up with to figure out whatever this shit was. And who else would you have had?
Gambit.
Gambit was there.
Where's Reed Richards? Where's Sue Storm? Like where are all these other people?
Girl,
like
we can't afford that.
Where is Michael B. Jordan?
What do you mean? Where's Reed Richards? Johnny Storm was there.
So where's the other? Like that? That's all I'm saying.
You can't bring everyone back. This isn't Multiverse of Madness. This is Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine.
So that's why it's like it's purely fan service. I thought that was so brilliant. I really did wish they brought back at least one character from the terrible, probably worst superhero movie of like the Fantastic Four. Is that that's what it's called?
Oh, you mean Fan-Fortastic?
The
one where it's
that
one, because no, it's just Fantastic Four. They didn't do anything but that's why
it's such a terrible
that's
movie.
why I call it Fan-Fortastic, because it has that weird four in the middle where an F should be, like that.
Yeah, no, terrible movie. But I wish they brought back Michael B. Jordan. Oh my God.
Miles Teller,
yes. Miles Teller.
No,
Miles Teller would have been funny.
No, I think that
Reed Richards coming back.
I think it's smart of them to never bring up that movie ever again. I think that movie should be shoved in a corner somewhere. I really do.
It's so bad.
Absolutely not.
It's so bad.
But really, at the end of the day, I've always said this. I don't understand why fans complain about fan service. You're a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they want to service you?
Yeah.
And wouldn't they want to give you moments? And I've never really felt that in any movie until this one. But it was good. It was fun.
No. And I think that's the real difference. There's bad fan service that you're just plugging shit in. But this didn't serve, the fan service didn't serve a purpose to the story, but it served the purpose for the overarching jokes.
Yes.
Sure. And that's the thing, is the joke of fuck 20th Century Fox. We're moving on. By everybody else that's been in the past, and that's the purpose of that fan service, and I thought it did brilliant.
See,
it was so funny.
But for me, that's a purpose. If the purpose is the joke, then that's a purpose.
Well, what do you think about the other Deadpools?
Oh, I loved it. I wish. Look, I was really hoping for Lady Deadpool to be Blake Lively, and I was really hoping for that reveal. I didn't get it. That would have been real fan service.
That would have been real fan service.
They did kind of joke about it, because he's like, why am I something along the lines of why am
I have 300. Everybody has 306 bones in their body, unless I'm watching Gilmore Girl, or not Gilmore Girl, Gossip Girl,
which is a fun homage to his wife. And then even when he's they're like, who's this? They're like, this is Wolverine. He usually has his shirt off, but the divorce hit him pretty hard. He hasn't been able to get back.
That joke, I died.
But then we got the scene where his shirt blasted off. Also, the full Wolverine hood for the first time,
it.
and even when he was like, "Wow, you're actually dressed you're in a comic book movie for once." Those kind of jokes, it just ran through, and it was so funny, and it was just it really, if you are a fan of these movies, those are who those jokes are for.
100%.
Even outside of it, because you follow the actors, you follow Ryan Reynolds.
No,
it's
like you said, it is definitely an homage to 1,000,000% millennials growing up watching all these. We think good. A lot of people think bad, but
Who thinks it's bad?
There's a lot of people who think they're bad movies.
Guys, why can't you be happy?
Facts. That's actually facts.
I don't understand. I really don't. And don't
besides the Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Fantastic Four, none of those movies are unwatchable.
No, I mean, and maybe it's just to a different standard. It's because we grew up with them or whatever. But like most of them probably haven't even really seen a lot of them, or like seen them to the extent.
And then people just hate and stuff like that.
And that's the thing is, it's like it feels like hate to hate, and it's
because
like,
I actually really enjoyed the Fantastic Four movies.
But I mean, same. But here's the thing, and here's why I think that a lot of people and a lot of the way we talk about movies now is there's so much like, and kind of one of the reasons I'm like annoyed with the horror genre in general. Not every movie has to be an Oscar winner.
No.
Not every movie has to have the emotional weight of Precious.
No.
Not every movie has to have the action and like everything of like the start of Pearl Harbor. Like, guys, enjoy things for what they are and stop comparing them to each other. That's what my real message is. I'm getting really... Enjoy fun movies, fun, stupid movies. Take it for what it is.
And Deadpool and Wolverine is a fun, stupid movie, and I give it an 8.
Yeah, if you liked 1 and 2, you will love this movie. This is
better than both of them.
It's better than both of them. I do agree. Like, you will love this one if you liked 1 and 2. If you liked any of the original X-Men movies from the 2000s, if you liked any of those 20th Century Fox movies, you'll find at least some fun in it. Even if you like the Blade movies, there's fun in that. But like...
You should like the Blade movies.
You should like the Blade movies, including Trinity, bitch.
Yeah, hey, I like Trinity.
I love them all. All
I forgot Ryan Reynolds was in it. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Until I just said that.
Yeah, I forgot Ryan Reynolds.
Including Trinity. Also, Ryan Reynolds was in there. That would have been a deep cut if they brought Jessica Biel in from that movie.
So in the comments, let us know, what do you guys think about Deadpool and Wolverine? What do you think about all the movies that we've gotten into? We promise you we won't be taking another hiatus like this again, at least for a while. Giving you guys weekly content. Of course, find us anywhere on wherever you listen to podcasts. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, put in comments. What do you think about us? What do you think we need to do? Or tell us you don't like us. And you know what? I have the worst voice in the world.
Tell me if you think I'm wrong and say it with your chest, and then call me a bitch when you do it. Thank you.
You'll turn them on if you do that, though.
That's why I asked. That was a request, not a threat.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Joe.
And guys, this is Double Trouble Features.